Hey everyone, this is Lisa from TRW, and in this video I'm going to show you how to cut Siser EasyWeed Stretch with your Silhouette CAMEO. So I have a piece here. I'm going to talk about how you can tell the difference between EasyWeed and EasyWeed Stretch and some quick things to look out for when you're cutting. So if you want to learn how to cut this material on your Silhouette CAMEO, just keep on watching. Alright, so I'm going to set up my design to be cut. Now, EasyWeed Stretch is an HTV, so we're going to treat it just the same as we have other HTV. You can check out the different videos I've been doing lately on how to cut your material. So I'm going to go over and really quickly go to my page setup, click right here where it says cutting mat, turn off my cutting mat. So now I have my design set up. Let's draw a square around it by using the rectangle tool on the left. Go that way. And then I'm just going to grab both of these by dragging my mouse over, and I'm going to click this little crosshair button. And so now I have that centered on there. And now I can take my design, right click, flip horizontally, and then I'm all set with my design to cut. So let's go over to the send panel. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I have both items selected, and I'm going to press this cut button here. Most of the time you don't have to do that, but if you bring in an SVG file, sometimes the cut lines are turned off. So that's one thing to check before you cut. And so right here we have Magic Flock set. That's something I cut recently. I'm going to click down and I'm going to go over towards the bottom. I have my user defined settings. I'm going to choose EasyWeed. So user defined settings is basically I've programmed my own cut settings into Silhouette Studio. I always recommend doing that. I think you're going to get the most accurate results, and you're going to find out what works best for you personally. So if you want to see how to program your own cut settings, just find the link in the description below or up in the corner. I do have a video on doing that. So you can see for my EasyWeed, I do the same settings for stretch and normal EasyWeed. So my blade is at 3, my speed is at 10, and my force is at 5, and I'm only doing one pass. So let me hold this up and show this to you. So it's hard to really tell by looking, but the main way to find the difference between EasyWeed and EasyWeed Stretch is that Stretch feels almost slick in a way. Like you can feel the smoothness of the carrier, and when you flip it over, it almost feels just as smooth. It almost feels a little like, I don't know, stickier, like more silicone-y or rubbery. So when you go to hold them, you know, I would recommend keeping a piece that you know for sure, and then grab an EasyWeed and grab a Stretch and kind of hold them next to each other while you're working with it. One benefit of using EasyWeed Stretch is it stretches, yes, but it is a slightly thinner material. So whenever I am layering colors, so let's say I'm putting a layer down of EasyWeed and then I'm going to be putting glitter on top of that, I like to use Stretch because it's thinner and it won't make my design as bulky. So I have my piece of vinyl here. We're going to go over, I'm going to set up my machine, and then we're going to start doing our test cuts and then our final cut. Alright, so I'm here with my Cameo, and I've got my piece of EasyWeed Stretch. So this is gold. Now, if you look closely on this edge here, I did a really bad job cutting it off. And that's one thing that you'll notice about EasyWeed Stretch is that it is kind of like, I don't know. Stretchy is not the best word because it's in the name, but if your cut is not good, you will not get clean lines. So you're going to see stuff like this where like it kind of like has this weird look. So this is what we're trying to avoid. So this is why we're doing a test cut. I never have issues, and I always use the same settings for EasyWeed. But hey, your machine might be older, your blade might be dull. There's so many things to factor in. So let's go over. I'm jumping back to my software. So you see my design is set up here, and I have my settings set, but I'm just going to jump down to this button right here, and let's do a test cut. Now this is going to cut a tiny square and a triangle, so we can figure out how well the settings are. Do we need to adjust anything? Alright, so there's my first cut. We're just going to wait for the machine to finish processing. Now let's unload it. Alright, so as we are working with it, let me let this focus for a second. You can see a little bit, my cut line is right there. Probably can see it better when the light turns. And this is the thing with EasyWeed, a lot of times you're not going to see the cut line very well just because the material is so thin. Let me let this focus right here. You can see your cut lines are right in here. So we're gonna bring this over. Let me kind of hold this right here for you to see. I'm gonna grab this and check it out. Nice clean weed. The square came up, the triangle stayed behind, and we're all good from there. So I'm gonna take my material, I'm gonna load it right back in. And one thing to note is that my design was set up right in the corner there, and I have my test cut in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this little button here. This will open a move panel. I'm just gonna move my blade over just a little bit so it starts on the other side. Let's jump back over to my software. There's my design, there are my settings, everything looks good, and now I can send. All right, so my cut is done. You can see as I like move this, you can see the cut lines in there. They're very faint, but I mean with that material, you're not gonna see like really strong cut lines. So I'm unloading it. I just did my test cut, so my settings are fine, unless, you know, it just decides to be difficult. But I have faith. So we're gonna go through here, just gonna pull up, and now we're weeding or taking out the excess vinyl. And that's why right here, if you notice, I did this box here. Whenever you do a weed box, I feel like it makes it so much easier to start weeding out your design because you have a set spot for you to start pulling from, and you don't have to guess and, you know, guess wrong as well. So we're just gonna take this, pull from there. We just have this little W as well. And so this, the EasyWeed Stretch doesn't particularly weed hard. I will say that the carrier sheet that it's on, this is the carrier, is probably the stickiest of all the materials I work with. So you just have to be careful about that. But you can see we have our vinyl right here. Let's flip it over so you can see the gold on this side. And there we have it. That's how we did a cut with our Siser EasyWeed Stretch HTV. So if you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and click that little bell next to subscribe so you don't miss any more videos. And leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you'd like to learn more. And we'll have plenty of videos out there to help you learn how to use your machine to the best of your ability.